NISBA News and On Board were offered a unique opportunity to have a one-on-one interview with New York's Education Commissioner, John King. As New York's Education Commissioner, during one of the most turbulent periods of educational policy change in state history, Dr. John B. King Jr. has had a view of Empire State government and politics that most educators could never imagine.
I would say Albany is not like what I taught in my high school civics class. I think, as I taught high school civics, some of the aspects of the political environment that are less substantive weren't necessarily the focus of our work in civics class. So the role of kind of misinformation and social media wasn't part of how I thought about teaching civics, although I imagine if I was teaching civics today, they would play a larger role. And, I think the political environment has really changed because of the speed with which misinformation can be reproduced and disseminated. And so one of the challenges we've had over the last few years is to try to correct those things. So when people say the Common Core is being imposed by the federal government and that gets reproduced in lots and lots of places, we've got to push back.
Dr. King has led the department since 2011, navigating an increasingly contentious landscape that has included harsh debates surrounding introduction of the new Common Core learning standards, a new teacher and principal evaluation system, and related measures designed to strengthen training and accountability for educators.
As we've implemented the Common Core assessments, I think there's been some misinformation about how that works. Some people say, oh, well, student proficiency levels are lower, that must be, and lots of teachers were found ineffective. But in fact, last year in New York, as you know, in the first year of the evaluation system, just 1% of teachers were identified as ineffective.
So what is the answer to the critics who oppose the Common Core?
So part of our work is about making sure people understand how the evaluation system actually works. Sometimes people will say, oh, well, we shouldn't have an evaluation system that's based just on test scores. But as you point out, growth on state tests, not absolute performance, but growth, is just 20% of the evaluation. Actually, for about 20% of the teachers in grades 4 through 8, English and math. For all the other teachers, all aspects of the evaluation are determined locally within the parameters set by the law. So part of the work is about making sure people understand how the evaluation system actually works.
Dr. King said he also sees more work ahead to make clear distinctions between the Common Core standards themselves and the most highly politicized and contentious areas of disagreement, chiefly the pace and logistics of testing aligned with the standards and the use of student test results as an element in teacher evaluations. I'm Susan Barnett for NISBA News.